shit like this is a bummer because the airing today is like going to be something where we're like, fucking, what's with improv so gay? And I hope that people that just tune in who don't know the show don't just think like, these guys don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Well, Christine put out a tweet that was like, we'll be talking about everything that's going on our episode we record Monday, and then we're going to bump it up because usually we're 4 episodes ahead. So we record something and then 4 episodes that comes out later. But with everything going on, we obviously need to speak on the fucking state of the world, specifically America, specifically everything that's going on. But it is like, you're right, Jay. It's like, turn it on and people are going to be like, and then I looked over there and I was looking at a sloppy shit. And they're like, these people are these the most apathetic human beings on the planet?
We're back with a Jeffrey Epstein shit or something.
I mean, that which, by the way, still hilarious. The Epstein stuff.
Here's the good news, everybody. This episode will be rush ordered and edited quickly by DJ Lou under the watchful eye of his cross-armed ethnic girlfriend, who's going to make sure he gets it just right.
Yeah. Yeah, you better not
like, you better say how cool black people are, motherfucker. We also black all of a sudden since she's half
we should
half Hispanic, but as you keep informing us optimistically, you also say she's half Italian.
Yep. I also think we should start calling him DJ White Boy because that's what you called him.
Dude, I love that.
DJ's lose dick move.
Damn, dude. Don't you want to see the combination bright white and pink that is DJ Lou's Rager?
Oh man,
called an ethnic slur.
Yeah, dude, it looks like a fucking alternative popsicle flavor.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know they did fucking peach orange.
Does she want you to call her like
your mamacita
Mexican stuff?
No.
Suck it, you bendeja.
She goes, call me your grandmother. I want to be known as your abuela. Call me your abuela, your mamacita.
I know that Bendeja, I know because Carla's dad, Hector, who just rules, by the way. He really is. I don't talk about him very much, but he got just fucking straight awesome all the time.
Yeah.
Left his daughter. Doesn't treat me like shit still. Completely like
It's like Jason.
Oh no, he doesn't say that. He calls me fucking Monty. He gives me all the gay. He calls me all the fat and gay.
Yeah.
Constantly, which but it's just like it's so endearing. He's just such like a dude, man. Her dad's great, but yeah, those are the words I know. Bendeja, I know, and then Monty Cohn is I think that's him calling me gay.
Mm-hmm.
I know all versions of Gordito.
Well, before the show, you were asking, Black Lou asked DJ White Boy if he was getting any looks for being in an interracial couple because. After this weekend, the heat is definitely got to be turned up on looks.
It's so
Black Lou, were you getting any looks?
Yeah, we try to picnic outside here.
Idiot.
It's a little rough. A lot more white people actually in the neighborhood now. I don't know if it's because they're moving for school, but still, yeah, there's looks out there. Yeah,
there were looks like. Were they like? Was it looks of like black people looking at you like, what are you doing?
Both sides.
Like in the middle of the race war.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Alyssa's lucky that she's pregnant right now because there could come a time where you have to make a decision out there in the streets where they're looking at you and you might have to like just fucking jack her in the face and be like fucking, like fucking Black Lives Matter, bitch.
She's carrying my black baby.
and then find the corner.
I'm gonna stand over and be looking down at her and being like, just stay down. And I won't.
That's what I was gonna say. Corner of the mouth. He's like, just fucking. He goes, you remember how we practiced that stunt punch? And she goes, yeah. He goes, WWE punch now. Black Lives Matter. And she's like, she sells it. She just goes over.
He goes, no worries, fellas. I took care of this fucking honky bitch.
This Becky just got her beating. And they're like, thank you.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, I'm about to rob her now. And he goes, honey, where's that 20 I gave you earlier to hold on to for me?
Throw me your purse. I'm
going to give it all back. I promise.
I mean, listen, man, this show, we have fun every fucking day, and we make fun.
Damn, dude, this is not the right time for your microphone to be cracking up.
Today, Dan, that's how you do?
That's it. When Dan gives
that's how it is. Black Boy programmed.
You don't give a shit.
It's message of hope. Hang on, Dan. You're getting your mic's choppy. You there?
What about now? Are you guys seriously not hearing me?
You're coming in clear now, but now I'm trying to see if your video's caught up. Just kind of talk a little bit. Let's see how it sounds. You're waving.
I'm waving my hand. We're all caught up.
Yeah,
I just don't think
choppy.
Fuck this.
Audio wise, it seems good right now, so you should be fine. It always you end up catching a rhythm. You catch a good rhythm that where it rolls.
It's so goddamn frustrating because you're having a conversation and then, can you guys hear me?
I know this is a bit behind. Yeah, I hear you. This is a bit behind the scene chat here, but like if we should change the time of the show because you could have full control of the internet or the Wi-Fi, we should do that.
Well, I have Katie's not doing anything, so there shouldn't be.
Maybe were you further from the router than you were out in the other room?
You ever think just Cisco can't keep up with your lightning fast punches?
That's probably it. That's actually exactly it, Jacob. Hold on, let me try to go into another room because this is fucking crazy.
Are you wearing fucking shorts, dude?
I have my legs up, dude.
Were you doing Muay Thai when we started the show?
Dude, I gotta get in my leg kicks. Hold on.
Jake, you be trying to fuck a fat bowling bartender or something? What's with that thing on your wrist? You got a medical chair? You got a wrist? Why are you breaking that? You moved to Florida and you're just becoming a Florida person.
It's a regular chair. It just came with this stupid back that I don't. The head. I might take this off so that I don't get ridiculed.
First of all, you look like James T. Kirk in that thing, man. You could lean sideways in that. My would be touching both of those handles. That's a love seat to you, dude.
Yeah, I need it.
You're becoming so old and Jewish down there in Florida.
That's what Christine said. I don't understand that.
I like getting the tour of Dan's place, though, huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what? It doesn't happen constantly, and if it happens, we'll just pause it. I know it's frustrating, but it's like,
Oh God, great! Now Dan's gonna hit Katie. His tensions are high right now. Tensions are really, really high right now. He's gonna go hit Katie and say, "You didn't do enough. You didn't do enough."
I love her backsplashes.
Everyone loves their backsplashes.
Well, wait, hang on. Let's wait till Dan gets back because I know he wants to hear this.
We're killing a little time while Dan's hitting Katie.
Why are you punching her?
Why?
I'm laying gold out here. Why are we gonna edit this out? I'm shucking and jiving over here. I'm playing. This is what friends do. I'm shucking and jiving, waiting for Dan to come back. This is all quality stuff.
That was Jay vamping. All right, we're gonna have to go in here. So if it breaks up, just let me know.
Okay.
You good right now, buddy?
Does that sound good?
I'll be honest with you. I'll be okay getting a little bit of that leg in the shot. I like a little bit of that leg in the shot. Yeah. Man, you really took us on the fucking Cribs tour of the place, by the way. So much spare footage.
Not really. I mean, it's like there's the living room and then this.
I feel like you could yell "come" in that room, and if someone was in the living room watching TV, it would not be a problem. Jacob, stop fidgeting so much in your chair.
Well, you've been super clear this whole time. You haven't frozen up at all.
Okay, great.
He's like, that's cool. All right, so
the solution to all this is
guys, I've done a lot of thinking and I figured out racial harmony. And it's all we have to do is
yeah. Well, now I'm back. So now we're all right.
Back big time. I kept saying you were going and hitting Katie for not having stronger internet signal.
No, but it is funny because I was frustrated, and it's one of those things where in quarantine that causes an argument because you go in another room and she's like, "Don't get frustrated at me," and you're like, "I don't know, it's fucking not working."
DJ Lou is going to rush order this one out, so it comes out. It'll be out today, which will be Tuesday. It is Monday right now. The weekend after, just chaos in like every major city.
Well, it's been a full week since the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police officers. You know, you see that video, and there's just no
Colvin, is that his name?
Who? Yeah, Colvin, the officer that was arrested.
J.L. Colvin.
JL, the comedian JL Colvin. But I understand that this episode's like, I even saw people being like, "Good, I don't want any. It'll be a nice escape." But here's the part of this show is that we're intertwined with what happens. We comment on everything that happens. We make jokes about everything that happens, but the pure humanity behind it is you can't go through something like this and not actually talk about it. This is going to be one of those episodes where if we lose fans, fuck it, we lose fans. But I would rather have a humanity-based audience than people that are just like, just make the fucking jokes, dude. If you're one of those people that's like, just make the fucking jokes, please suck my dick. because I think we're all going through something where
you're wound up, dude. You're
I
already
have
angry.
a compassion for the campers though, and for the fan base, where I think everybody's really feeling like personally affected by this. And I think that the people that are attracted to comedy and the type of comedy that you guys do are genuine good people. I'm not saying there's not outliers and bad eggs in the mix.
For sure, but I think
people that murder their
Little.
mothers that love Barbara Streisand. It's like, what can you do?
Yeah,
but I think that this fan base will.
I think our fan base is unbelievable, and I think they understand exactly who we all are. But the fact remains is
and
that
they all love Barbara Streisand.
They all love the Babs. Who doesn't love fucking Babs?
Come on, man.
But it is a thing where, the murder of George Floyd brings up an issue that is as old as this country, which is police brutality against black people. And where it gets frustrating is where you see people online, and this is what social media now does, and this is how connected we are via the internet. Everything becomes a sub-argument. Everything becomes a secondary argument, where it's no longer about the murder of this man in Minneapolis. Now it's about like, well, who are these outsiders joining the protest? You know what I mean? Like, they do such a good job, and the media is the biggest proponent of this. They move where they want to talk about shit, which is away from the original issue. And you've seen it. It's already Monday, and it's not even about, really, for a lot of people, it's not even about George Floyd anymore. Now they want to talk about, like, well, is it violent? You know what I mean? It's just a thing where it seems that people are good at diverting.
It probably is a bigger argument. The problem is, like, listen, I am particularly, the precinct on my block. I have leveled them on this show verbally. And, you know what I mean? Like, I've had many problems with that thing. But I mean, like, there's also, it's like, just to make it's like, I think there's almost 100% of the time abuse of power in cops, which, I guess some of them are harmless, but, some of them are very, very harmful when you get that kind of like feeling. But the bummer is in being on this block all weekend, and they brought in, I guess, like backup police, not just the cops from this precinct, because 2 fans came over that were police officers, weirdly, put their hands up to shake my hand, and I was like, "Oh, guys," I gave them like the elbow, and they literally went, "Oh yeah, COVID." I was like, "Yeah,
it's still going on."
That is also happening, and but they were like, nice guy. I'm not just saying because they were fans; they were nice guys. Like they said, like, "Do we love on the show when you shit on this precinct? These guys are assholes over here." You know what I mean? But they were like friendly enough guys. And then another one, again, with cops still, I either get like the side eye stare, which I've gotten from plenty of them on this block this week for some reason. But for the most part, a bunch of them have been very nice and not even recognizing me. Just another cop was up. He was like, "How's your night going, man?" And I was like, "How's yours going, dude? You guys staying safe, I hope, man. Like, this is fucking crazy." And he was just like, I mean, it was great, man. He goes, yeah, he goes, one fucking, if you are a good cop, which exists, you know what I mean? Yeah. For this guy to say a thing, he goes, yes, he goes, one fucking asshole in, in Minneapolis does all this shit. And he was very interesting. He goes, this sucks because, like, I understand the demonstration of it. I understand the protesting. I understand. I hate to say it, but even as an officer, because I understand if they want to just be outside of the police station all day, just like shitting on us and calling us, you know what I mean? Like, I understand the frustration, but he's like, particularly the things on my neighborhood here, he's pointing out, he's like, but everyone's been out of work for months and months now. And like that that single owner restaurant over there just had their windows bashed in. It did, like, right across the street. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, what? It's like, yeah, I don't understand what, like, the violent nature of the protest. Some people will say you have to get violence to get attention, but I mean, like,
well, it turns out, and this is something where I said, like, I understand the anger now that, there's been over the last couple of years where you just keep hearing the same fucking story over and over again. Nothing's really changing. And it's like, I hate to be all fucking white girl, but it's like, you want to take the power back, and that, like, we hire these people. Like, this is not a police state. Like, they do not have the control. Like, we have more control. And there's something about, like, the code of police and the bad eggs. Yeah, I think once the majority feels something, it's like the goal is to change the norms. There is a time when, like, you know, things were just normal life and the way things were, and people didn't think twice about it. And then something happens and some connection happens where people go, this isn't right.
Well, yeah, well, I think that's kind of, you know, that's the point of this is I think we're incredibly empathetic as a show. And as six people that are on a show, I feel like we always can find a way to make those jokes. That's why when we watch clips like that lady getting her head taken off by a pole, you know, it's like at first
she lived.
She didn't live. That Russian lady?
No way.
She did
I swear to God, someone sent it.
Jay, we read the article.
This sounds jarring. No, she died like on site.
Died.
It was not even
she died
like
on
a question.
Yeah.
Show her tits.
Yeah, but it is a thing where it's a show where we can, you know, I think at first we always embrace the humanity and then we kind of go to the funny. I think I think that's always how we've always done in breaking the awkwardness or the tension that is in whatever we're talking about. And we make fun of everybody. But I don't think it would be right if we didn't talk about the fact that Christine, it's like, yeah, it does need to change, but we're five white people and the only black person here is Lou. And I think it's a completely different experience to deal with. I'm never going to know what it's like to be black, no matter how many times I do blackface and Jay and I dress up and run around.
But we don't.
You guys find out
we don't film it. It's just for us.
Yeah, you guys, we just do off camera. It would be funny if that's what comes out of all this. It's just like several pictures of me in blackface, and you're like, "This." I was doing it for the experience. I was doing it for the experience.
We do Al Jolson tunes for each other. It's just an acting exercise.
Side note: would this be a good time for me to get my hair braided?
Oh hell yeah, boo!
Yeah, go get those cruise ship fucking dreads. That won't be offensive. But the point being is like, man, I'm seeing a lot of people online that have some opinions and they're white, and it's kind of like I think this is the one situation where white people just need to kind of shut the fuck up and listen to what black people have to say about this situation, about police and how, because I'm seeing a lot of the protests. You seeing white kids slamming skateboards into cop cars and shit. You're also seeing them do some violent shit, and the police are going to turn around and hurt the black people that are protesting. You know what I mean?
Want the white people to listen, they should just rap everything they're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you see,
shit ain't right in the streets.
White people have no reason to be violent in these times. That's really, it's like white people causing violence and destruction right now. It's like that's not what I feel the world needs from white people right now.
Well, I guess my question is we're even doing it right now, but Black Lou, like, how do you feel when this shit goes down?
And let me answer that for you, Black Lou.
It would have been better if Christine goes, I feel. That would have been perfect.
Guys,
white girl.
I feel like.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lou. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that the world needs Kendall Jenner and Pepsi right now. Right?
Yeah, that's all.
Make everything okay.
Or make everything perfect like the Kardashians always do. But it's one of those weird things where it's like we can't protest peacefully. And then if we burn shit up, that's wrong also. So a lot of people are confused as far as what to do next and like where to go from here. I don't necessarily agree with burning the city down, but there are a lot of, I would say, old mentality or old school African Americans that feel like the country was built by slaves for free. Mm-hmm. So we should be able to take whatever we want, especially if we feel like we're being oppressed or not answered.
Yeah.
You're saying as far as like the looting stuff and everything?
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't agree with it, especially if you're going to start looting black businesses. Like, what's the point? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
That's an interesting perspective on that, because my whole thing was like what I never understood is like the looting always to me seems opportunistic. I don't think throwing a Molotov cocktail into a car is opportunistic. That seems more like a rage reaction to being upset, you know what I mean? And being like that kind of angry, which does make sense to a degree. I think it's also this thing gets perverted by people who are almost emotionless about it on either side, but they just want to like film themselves Instagramming during a walk.
Yeah.
A lot of people yelling no justice, no peace. I think that's kind of fucking gross. I think if you're that passionate about it, I said like before, I think the demonstrations overall as a thing are great. I mean, there's just so many like I'm no educated or smart man, but I mean, like, there's just such obvious things here. Like, just fucking
It's like,
charge all four of those cops.
yeah, it is one of those things where you're like, I'm not a smart man, but I know what
just like
systemic racism is. It's the Forrest Gump scene.
I mean, listen, I think we may have talked about this over the weekend, Dan, about this very thing. But like, there was another cop. I heard this story third hand, but I think it's something you could look up. There was a cop who had his camera or microphone on or something, and there was something where you had a white person, I think, like pulled over or in some situation like after this, and the guy goes like, "Don't kill me" or something like that, or "You're gonna kill me," and the guy was like, "No, we only kill black people." No, he's being a smartass.
Sure,
he's being a smartass is what he's being. He's not confessing to this guy that he kills black. Do you know what I'm saying? He's being a smartass, but it's like, you're not a smartass, dude. I think did we talk about this, Dan, where I said like Donald Trump when he was talking right us the sentence after he goes, they say we're going to have 200,000 deaths in this model, but we're trying to stay way below that model. I don't know. I didn't have nothing to do with these models. Well, not these kind of models. Like in the middle of just telling you how many 200,000 people are going to die, he's like, also I used to fuck models, and you're like, on a comedic level, that's fucking hilarious timing. But like, he wasn't looking for it to be hilarious timing, and and it's just like, yeah, dude, can you just be the president?
Yeah, dude. If I'm getting
it's like dick around with your friends and say shit like that, but can you be the president? So it's
if I'm,
it's like the standard that you're holding people to it, and something. If you don't mind, Dan, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make a joke of like, if I was getting a cancer diagnosis from a doctor, I wouldn't want him to be like, a lot of time for video games. You're going to be in bed a lot. You're like, I have stage 4 lymphoma, and he's like, right. Okay.
Right.
It looks like you get whatever dessert you want this weekend.
Yeah. All right, breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to get that joke in before we're too far away from the point.
No, for sure. I'm not even sure where I was going. My mind's so like racked with shit. But the looting thing, like, especially when you see a bunch of white people and they're doing it, it's so like I find that opportunistic. I think the destruction.
How do you?
But that's what I was saying. That I'm just kind of like, I'm Joe Average, but the obvious things just seem very fucking obvious. And I like that there's been situations I heard of, like there was one where like a white cop got separated from like the troop and kind of like circled in, like people were gonna fucking about to mob him and fuck him up. And like all these like big black dudes like linked arms kind of around him and like kept people off the cop, because like, thank God there's like rationality in this somewhere where it's like you're it's like you can't, it's like, I know it's poetically sounds like you should be able to as black people, but it's like you can't just lynch this dude on the ground because another guy who wears a similar uniform did something. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what this guy's stance is on this at all. You know what I mean? So it's like to just mob him again. I think people realize now it's like you can't just start like taking like martial law on this fucking thing, and it's a fucking shitty thing. But again, that said, I don't know the answer to the fucking problem other than it's like just like obvious things. Like there needs to be some sort of.
It's almost like you can't treat a black person by shit just because he's a black person. You have your own ideas about black people. It's almost like
I'm not saying
you almost You almost understand though why people just want to attack cops as a whole, because it's almost like the world saying like, hey, if you guys want to make it like you against us, like you're supposed to be for us. The cops are supposed to be for humanity, like not each other.
Yeah, but Christine, this is the whole point: is that we're talking about it through the perspective of white people who have, even if you have a strained relationship with law enforcement, I think it's completely different. In like, I don't know, Black Lou, you and I had a conversation on the phone, and you were like, "Yeah, I have family that are police officers, and that's got to be crazy to be a black police officer in this time."
Oh, I just assumed they were white. Sorry. Oh, I thought you just had white relatives. Yeah, black police. Dude, watching on the street too, the black police officers. I'm like, I feel like talk about somebody you look at and you just go, like, dude, this has to be fucking. As you're putting on riot gear to possibly have to go to war with people who are probably like furious at something that you probably agree is fucked up and crazy. You know what I mean? But like, you have to do your job. It's
true. Nuts, but also, I've seen black officers out there also like, going along with the people as far as kneeling is concerned or marching with them. I've also seen them out there stopping other cops from doing bad shit. I don't know if you saw the video with the black cop with the gold hair, the woman.
Yeah, yelling at the other cops.
For pushing the protester for no reason. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. It's
I mean, this is
you see the black cop said knock out the black lady. Like the black lady punched the white cop like 2 times, and then the black dude just came from behind and like turned her, dude. I mean, stretched her out.
Jay said this too. It's like the perspective we have of being on the side of the cops in a very physical way by where we live, you know, and just seeing it's like our street right now is barricaded and the cops have to let us in and out through gates and there's cops guarding. And I opened my door yesterday and there were cops in riot gear running down the street. And it's been very jarring, but I'm looking at the people and I'm like, it looks like the people are just walking and going and it's not getting violent right here. But it just really, like, I'm sorry. I got distracted and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck.
You know what really though? I like having, at times I'll sit here and like argue with some of my white friends. And it's basically like, you know, unfortunately they don't get it. Because they've never had experiences based solely on the color of their skin, unless they were caught in the wrong hood at the wrong time. But other than that, you know, as Black people, we always have experiences like based on that. So I get why sometimes white people don't really get what's going on.
But every time you get out of jail, you get a new 400-pound white woman.
Well, it's just it brings up the argument. And I'm sorry, I remembered. My point being that I remember saying, looking at these cops and seeing like even the compassion on their faces and like just kind of letting the people go and yell and just kind of guarding and making sure they were staying safe themselves. I'm like, why don't they just start like walking with them or kneel or anything? And then I'm on, you know, Forbes and there's an article about like there are police around the country. Like there's this video that when I watch it, I want to cry because there's a sheriff in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, it's gone viral.
They're chanting, walk with us, walk with us, walk with us. And he goes, come on, you guys want to walk? Let's walk. And he starts walking. And then like a black guy puts his arm around him. And I see that. And I'm like, that's what should be happening.
You know what immediately?
Like, you really should be like, you should be like, no, this is wrong. Like we all think this is wrong. This is not how people should be treated. Like when you're doing horrible things to yourself and ruining your life and getting in trouble by law enforcement, like you shouldn't also get beaten up or killed. It's like you should just get arrested, like do it calmly, like do whatever you got to do. But like, why the violence? Why the treating people like less than?
I swear to God, I thought Christine was going to assume the cop started walking with him and a black guy put his arm around the cop and then the cop beat him with a billy club. Goddamn hands off me, motherfucker.
And then you just see cops in San Jose and place, they're just kneeling. As the protesters walk by, the cops are just kneeling.
Again, you have, and so do I, and so do us, we have a white perspective on that. We're like, see, police officers. Something that you need to realize about that is that was the sheriff of Flint, Michigan. And I saw that video and I thought it was great. And then I looked at one of the comments below and it fucking made it real for me. Sheriffs are elected. So that guy, even though it's a great move, how much of that is a fucking election move? How much of that is fucking, let me get the votes? Remember me? I'm the white sheriff that walked with everybody. So it's like, you gotta understand. Yeah, fuck him. No, but I'm saying there's what I'm trying to understand as a white dude in America is like what it must be like to have the whole system against you. And this conversation always really makes, and I've had it with friends and I've seen it online. It always makes other white people very uncomfortable when you're like, oh yeah, we have a leg up in this country. And then someone's like, fuck you. You don't know what I've been through. And it's like, I'm not take the you out of it. I'm talking about take your personal pain out of this. Everyone has personal pain. Everyone goes through some shit. I'm saying we don't know enough about how systemically it's bent against black people. And I know there's a lot of white people that are gonna be like, what are you, a white apologist? It's like, maybe that's what this needs. Maybe it needs more empathy from white people being like, oh yeah, this whole system, we had hundreds of years of slavery. They didn't get civil rights until the 60s that really didn't roll into the 80s, and it's still fucked up. So I still think there's a part of it that's like, there's a part of it of being like, guys, this is about empathy. This isn't about like what you did. Because I think and I'm seeing a lot of reactions of like people trying to be white saviors on Twitter. There's two types of people. There's like the white saviors, and then there's the whites that are like, I'm not racist. Look at me. I'm not racist. I'm not racist.
Can we call them Captain Save-A-Bro?
Oh, right there, Jay. You stay
it's
throwing
also
fire.
something where like race relations at the core of it, and thinking about all the systematic racism and the way the court systems work, and like why a black man would run from the cops in the first place, because if they have fucking a gram of weed on them, they're going to be thrown in jail for 20 years because
Also-
it's like it is systematically against them. So it's like you can't argue like
motherfucker.
Yeah, but there's privatized prison systems. There's mandatory minimums, which, by the way, this isn't political. I'm not shitting on the right or the left. I'm shitting on the whole system because the Clintons are the ones that put in mandatory minimums.
I'll shit on mandatory minimums all day long.
But I mean, you're looking at something in this country where now marijuana is legal almost, in 85% of the states. It's legal for recreational use. Yet there's still a bunch of black and brown people locked up because of selling weed in the fucking 90s. And so it's like, listen, my point is I think white people need to shut up and listen. And that's why I'm getting aggravated when I see like all these white people jumping in on protests and getting violent, where it's like something that Jay said earlier. It's like, why are you getting violent? This isn't for white people.
And there's also like, like I keep seeing, I said, there's these comics who are posting stuff. And there's a thing, and it's not like I'm not angry at them. I'm just like, I don't understand what the point is. They're like, if you're a comic, it's like comics, always want to jump up and defend whatever this is. If you're not defending this, like you're whatever, or your silence is whatever. I haven't posted anything about it on social. My social media is like at this point, it's like a machine of like clips that goes. You know what I mean? Like
I don't even run my social media. I choose when I want to fucking get on it. But you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can go on. We can go on it whenever. I mean, I check it and like I go over, and messages and everything. But the content of it, like, and my personality is not to just like leave some fucking thing. It's very sensitive subject, number one. But it's like if you're not talking about it, it goes live broadcast, so I'm gonna go talk about it.
That's exactly. But that's
funny.
My point.
I mean, this show, even on Legion of Skanks, it's so funny. Because like Legion of Skanks, like, we swing for the fences a bit on like the humor on that show. And even on that show, we were like disclaiming everything. We'd be like, hey, look at this situation. This is what's going on. This fucking sucks. This is we all agree this is a tragic, horrible thing. All right, now here's our fucked up jokes about all these, you know what I mean? Because we have to say it's like, and we usually don't even do that, but it's just like, it's sensitive enough that you're like,
we do 8 hours
this
of this.
Fucking blows, dude. This blows. This is a shitty situation.
We do 8 hours of this show a week. We do 8 hours of broadcasting a week. And it would be, I'm not here to tell you how to vote. I'm not here how to tell you how to fucking run your house. I don't even know my shit. I'm fucking irresponsible. My point is, in a situation like this, I think this is our platform to have a conversation on how do we get here? What do we do? And I think it's like, and Black Lou has, he's the sole black person on the staff, and I feel like there's a perspective that, Jay, you lived in a black neighborhood in Philly. You started in the black scene in Philly. So I think as far as white people go, you're closer to understanding police brutality.
It's funny how much I was going to say that earlier too. And it is interesting because you've heard on the show and the stories I've told throughout my life. And I'm sure it's the way I look, the way I dress, whatever it is, through the years of everything. Be it when I wore more hip hop shit, or then I have like tattoos, and as I got older, you know what I mean? Just like shit that like, and cops I've never felt the beautiful sweeping breeze of a cop just being like, what's going on? All right, well, just slow it down for me, get out of here. I'm like the guy who's out of the car every time. And like they want to run things and check the car out, and like, where are you coming from? What are you doing? I've never drove drunk in my life ever. I've never like.
Well, it's infuriating. You and Lewis got thrown up against a wall for smoking a joint. It's like all my life walking around Los Angeles, New York, everywhere smoking joints. Never I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like they're going to tell me to put it out and move along. Like never in my life would I think that I'd be like shoved against a wall and handcuffed.
Christine, stop white girl explaining this to us, if you please.
Shit, dude, it's really funny though. It's really see how it's like cream cheese though. That it's like I see the cops and I'm like, I don't know. I usually like them.
Really?
No, I know, but let me.
Crazy how wildly different.
Wait, hang on. Let me finish this thought. Let me finish this thought here because I'm saying like, but it's. I said when I got arrested in Manhattan for my license was suspended for an unpaid seatbelt ticket. I just never paid it, and my license was suspended. I was driving on a suspended license, so they had to arrest me. And they told me that, and I tried to like, I was like pleading with them almost like, dude, is there any can just she take over driving? And like, I mean, this is years ago, so it's my ex-wife was like, can she just take over driving? And she was actually pregnant with Isabella. That's how long ago this was. They were like, no, once we call it in, like I have to take you in. You know what I mean? Like you were driving on a suspended license. And I was like, all right. And I got out of the car and I put my hands together behind my back. Right. Yeah. And I mean, he didn't grab my hands, grabbed my belt and pushed my like body down and face on like the hood of the car, like the hot hood of the car where I was actually going. I was like, all right, dude, I'm not fighting you. Like, I'm not fighting you at all, man. Like, what are you, you know what I mean? And they were just like shitty and nasty to me all night. And it was like, at one point, I think I said to them in the car, I'm like, guys, I'm in here for an unpaid seatbelt. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like, you're treating me like you just found me, like, with blood all over me and like a dead woman next to me. Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Like, there should be some perspective on like, why are you being so shitty? But I'm telling you, it's just because of like, they thought I was like a punk from the way I looked. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that,
I think you just said it.
But I'm just saying what I just want to make sure is clear, that I don't want to get past before I say this, is that is a 100th of the concern level of what's in my mind, like the most is going to happen. I'm like, they're probably going to try to take me. I go with something. They're going to look for a reason to like take me in.
Sure.
Me and do the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like not like set me up for like a major fucking thing or whatever. And they're not going to, I would never put them in a position where I'd feel like I'd be worried that they're gonna like fucking subdue me to the point that they fucking kill me. So I'm saying it's a tiny microscopic peek into the world of that, because I said I've never had them be nice and helpful to me, police.
Sure.
But also I'm not afraid of them
giving you the Freddie Gray.
I'm
not afraid of them breaking your neck.
They're gonna pull out a gun because I'm fucking reaching for my wallet. You know what I mean? I don't think that's I don't worry about that.
Yeah,
and that's like that's got to be a fucking.
But Black Lou, when you
real thing,
Black Lou, when you see on the internet, when you see kind of like as a black person, when you see like white comedians, can you tell which ones are just tweeting just to tweet to be like?
I'll be honest, I don't read all the way through them.
Really?
Because sometimes I don't want to take it the wrong way because maybe we know them. And they're cool people, and they're writing something that maybe I'm taking it the wrong way.
Sure.
That's what I was going to ask you guys: is what point do you feel like you see celebrities coming out of the blue with things like this? Are they just following a trend, or are they really speaking from the heart? Like I wanted to ask you about Taylor Swift's post.
Yeah,
what did she post?
I've never really seen her post anything about this before, me personally. So I was wondering why now. Like, is she doing this?
I have to say, Black Lou, I can actually answer that. As Taylor Swift became like an alt-right, like those guys, like their queen.
Not an alt-right.
So she found out, not alt-right, but like a Nazi-ish, like dream girl. Yeah, and so she ended up speaking out against that. That's why she went hardcore on the gay stuff and all that, because she's like, I am not some fucking conservative queen. And so she has like, maybe not on this issue, but she's had to distance herself from people thinking that she's like a fucking Aryan goddess.
She's like, God loves fags.
So how about that? She goes, God wants to kiss those queers right on their cheeks. But
God loves fags, the spics, all of them.
All of them, all the people that aren't pure Aryans. You go, whoa, Taylor, that is not how you say that. But Black Lou, I think I started to see a trend, because I think immediately the reaction with social media on all these situations going back is that if you don't make a statement immediately, then you're for it. You're for the racism or whatever. And I think a lot of people and I'm only speaking from my perspective, I'm kind of dumb when it comes to all this. I think I have, to a certain extent, been in a white guy bubble where I'm kind of like, shit, yeah, that does make sense that the American flag doesn't mean to you what it means to me. My whole life, it's like, we beat the Nazis and, we're a great country. And I think for black people, a lot of black people look at the American flag as like, fuck you, you built this place and we still treat you like absolute dog shit.
I was going to say, I kind of have like a thing too, where it's like, I'm a comedian.
Yes.
So like if you're coming to my page, it's like for me to break off and do something like that. Now, by the way, if I was like some reason mega inspired to, maybe I would, if I didn't have a radio show perhaps or podcast, you know what I mean? If I couldn't like get
absolutely.
Kind of like my thoughts are like maybe I would go at it, but it's like I just don't think of social media like in that kind of thing. And also like if it makes sense, just like you said, when I'm seeing like some comics and stuff, I don't really know names because I don't even have any names. I just see so many posts and I'm just like, so to my fans, I'm almost like, I don't think any of you think that I'm like, hey, this is pretty rad. What's going on? You know what I mean? This is a good thing. So it's like no one would assume that. So it's like, and no one's really given me like the if you're silent. They've just been like the broad spectrum things. Like if you're not speaking up about this or posting about stuff like this right now, it's like then what the hell's wrong with you? Like,
well, let me say what I think. I think social media is very, very performative. I think it's very performative in the way that people can use it. I think there's some people. I think it does give voice to people that didn't have a voice before. I think it gives the ability for people that weren't able to get their voices out in the public because of mainstream media and other shit like that. It gives them an opportunity to say things that maybe you wouldn't read anywhere else. But I also think it's a double-edged sword, and there's a lot of people on there that are saying things but not doing anything. And I think that was kind of where I was at when George Floyd got murdered. And then, I mean, this comes off of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna. There's a lot of murders going on where this happens a lot. And I think for white people, this happens like almost like seasonally. Like this is like the McRib for us, where we're like, oh, it's back. Cops are shooting, they're shooting black people in three increments. It always does with Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and now George Floyd. And then you have more like when you look back to when
so you're safe for 5 years, Black Lou.
Yeah, it's like I think there's a lot of people that tweet and they have these big responses of like, I'm standing for this, but then when it dies down, they forget about it. And I talked to our friend Desmond Jay, and he brought up a good point where it's like, man, this shit is every day for black people. This doesn't go away. You can tweet, but shit doesn't go anywhere.
No, it doesn't go anywhere. And also, I want to say, just Dez. Every time we talk about Dez, I just remember that he was definitely one of the people. He's such a sweetheart, Dez.
Hey, John F. O'Donnell and Dez saw me more fucked up. Like,
oh yeah, he was there for the trial.
He was there for the night of the trial. Like, there's times like for a couple. I love Dez. I think he's great, and he's never been anything but kind to me. But a couple times I saw him after that, I just see him and I look down. I'm like, you've seen inside of me.
I'm a garbage slut.
Like, I'm a garbage person.
I mean, if it makes sense, he's the only face expression I remember when I walked in that room.
Yeah.
So he goes, now 2 guys who raw dogged me are in the room together. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I remember whatever his face was the one that I just went, that's mortifying for you to say that.
But my point being is that, like, I think
black, and you have a black friend, Dan. We get the point.
Oh no! Then I talk to my friend. I just start making up black names, and then I talk to Jamarcus and my friend Tyler. I just start making up names that are clearly made up black names. Like I talk to Majonathan, and they're like, "That's never been a word." You're just I talk to Detoby. It's just white names with just D's in front of them. Detoby.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break right here, and we'll be right back. We're talking all things chaos in the world. It's a quarantine tapes, but hey, it's still your bonfire.
Thing that hit me so much, and it's like I hate to sound so fucking cliche and so white girl, but he's like, I appreciate it because you're like, I don't have. It's not like I'm a guy where I'm like, I have a black friend. You're like, I just have like black guys I love, and you start thinking like, what if this was like Black Lou or Michael or Sherrod, and you're just kind of like, this fucking sucks, man. You're like, wow, you start to realize you're like, oh, my friends live with something that like I just kind of almost act like it doesn't exist.
If it happens to Black Lou, I promise you the paper trail will lead back to Fiore.
It will. Fiore will be like, I set this whole thing up. It'll be Fiore. He's just a cop in Connecticut. And he crossed that state lines and put 3 in him right in his chest. And like, Jesus Christ, you fucking really did him dirty. My point being is like, it's a thing where like if you're playing video games with someone and you realize they have a broken controller and you don't feel bad, you're a dickhead. Like if we're playing the same game and I'm like, Black Lou, I'm fucking smoking you in this, and he's like, yeah, the circle and triangle button don't work, and you're like, I still won. And I know that's like a silly dumb analogy.
So black people, Dan's message is buy a new controller.
Get a new controller and
Or-
stop having sugary
Right now,
drinks.
Like,
That's
really, if you
stupid.
don't have money, it's only like $20. You can't buy a new controller.
And I mean, and while you're looting, fucking pop into a GameStop, man.
Get a controller. You know what? They're out there. They're behind the counter. You can get there in time.
That's so
Wait,
much
may I
to
re-
ask.
And may I recommend the charging dock, or you're going to be living in a world of wires?
I mean, you're just gonna be stay plugged in. And what is this? 1993? You don't want to stay plugged into your machine.
Dude, I'll tell you what would have been a really
Parents
funny.
for the money.
But I
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
fuck. I was forgetting my point. I was just gonna say like. When I see the people on Twitter that are like, or when I see people on social media and I kind of know them, and I'm not going to say any names, but it looks super performative. I'm just wondering, like, when's the last time you actually talked to a black person about this as a white guy? You know, like, when's the time that you called someone and was like, how do you feel about this? Because I think, again, social media is a thing where you're rushed to get your word out, and that can be more detrimental than it can be beneficial. And you see, Black Lou, you were asking about, like, have I seen a trend? And I have.
Mhm.
I've seen from when George Floyd was murdered on Monday. He was murdered a week ago. You saw people who I felt were genuinely tweeting about it on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And then by Saturday, after Friday night, you started to see some of the performative tweets. And then by Sunday, you saw people like Halsey, who is, I didn't know she was half black, but I found that out. But she had a tweet where she was
is she half black like Whoa Vicky?
That makes that body make sense.
well, I don't know. I read this article because they showed her tweets and she was like, I was tear gassed, yet we kept moving forward. I was this. And it just kind of felt like it read like something that someone would be like, I'm cool. See, I'm cool.
Yes.
See, still totally cool. And it's like, I'm not cool. I'm a fucking, I don't know shit.
I asked how much those herds would thin out if you just like, were able to see in the people's soul, and it's like pluck out everybody who's there. Cause it's just like, I mean, I definitely saw a lot of groups of just like cute young girls that were just like, well, we're going to march.
Yeah.
And so, dude, this is a funny concept too, that I say has to be hilarious. If you're not there till the end, I don't know what the end of a protest is. Like, when it ends up,
there's not like a bullhorn or anything.
but having to dip out of it at any time, it's just like, it's got to be one of the funniest things in the world.
funny.
No justice, no peace, no justice. You go, I got to jam out of here, guys. Does anybody want my sign?
Jay, or the pre-warning where you go like, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives. I got to get out of here in 15 because I feel like traffic's going to be a nightmare. Do you want to dip out? It's like you're leaving a sporting game early. You go, I feel like we're going to be jammed on the highway if we don't get out of here. Now, that's like white.
You want to take off before the horn?
That's white protesting where you're like, no justice, no change. Then you go like, hey, how do you feel about swinging by and getting a Sammy on the way home? If it's not.
Dude, I said also the funniest fucking video. I may have said this on Skanks. I said the funniest video in the world you could possibly do in these times is if you had the balls to go into a store where people are looting and just have somebody film you like while there's chaos and just grabbing at things and ripping things off shelves around you, like you're looking at like labels of things. And you just look at someone who's like trying to rip a TV out of a wall, and you're just going like, things are all chemicals now. I swear to God, if you can't understand the word, then I'd say don't put it in your body. But I don't know. He's putting it back on the shelf. He goes, brand. Oh, this is organic. Oh, this still fruit, high fructose corn syrup.
Man, they put it
just being finicky about your loot.
Yeah, they put it in everything. All right, so Christine brought up a picture of Halsey's dad. She is half black, but the Taylor Swift one, I didn't know that she was crowned the Nazi princess.
Well, I'm trying to find
if you just made that up.
No.
I think Christine's over here slandering Taylor Swift.
I haven't. No, there's a whole Vanity Fair article, Taylor Swift's politics and the death of one of the internet's worst memes. I'm trying to find the original meme.
I think she's a grand wizard.
She has a whole posting about like, kind of speaking out against that. She's like, I'm not your Nazi queen. Like, that's not who I am. So yeah, this was from.
You don't get to pick if you're who
2018.
You are.
I'm trying to find.
That is kind of
just get called out by anything. It's like, I'll tell you what. He goes, the white supremacist party. When we are not out there hating and beating up minorities, we like to sit back and really just drink in billions. I mean, that show is so good.
That's what I was just going to say.
Officially endorse billions, and all of its actors, and the hilarious Dan Soder. And you're like,
Dude,
why not like you guys? He goes, doesn't matter, man. We just dig you.
You're our guy. And they go, Dan, do you know that Dan is like the number one guy for like odd militias, like white supremacist militias? And I go, I don't know how that happened.
They think I'm trying to think of something. You just don't say things.
But dude, it'd be like the Russian.
You're not a repetitive comic, but it'd be funny if like the KKK's like their new look. You know how like the Air Force got adopted, or one of them was like "Get her done."
Yeah.
Like one of the like what it's like the Dan Soder catchphrase is like what is like the new like what KKK people wear.
Go, oh, you think this bad neighborhood? And you're like, oh,
yeah, you
son
think
of
this
a
bad
bitch.
neighborhood. No,
Son of a bitch.
I don't use my own things against me.
Yeah.
You think this is a big? What is this? After stoking the fires of white supremacy.
I'm assuming this is what you guys were talking. I honestly haven't read a lot of. I haven't.
Oh yeah, it's again
After stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority before threatening violence.
I have no problem with this.
When the looting starts, the shooting starts.
I mean, dude,
Is that what
Vote
Trump
you out.
said when the looting starts, the shooting starts? Like he made it a fun little rhyme for people to chant.
well, it's not a fun little rhyme. It actually comes from I believe it's a Miami sheriff back in segregation. So this is a thing that goes back to like
Ugh.
he said a statement that it's like not really the best. That'd be like,
He's like, fuck you, blacks. Like it really
That's
is like may as well.
but if that'd be like if I tweeted something out where I was like, "Hey, Plymouth Rock didn't land on we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us." They go, "That's a Malcolm X quote," and I go, well, "What's up?" I just thought I was fucking freeballing there.
Guys, I have a dream that one day.
Yeah, they go, Jay, you're stealing one of the most important things. I go, these white devils.
It's like, nah, dude, look at their faces. They have no idea. I have a dream that one day black children and white children will hold hands on the mountain.
But Black Lou, have you seen any tweets from like white comedians that you're like, I don't know about that?
He said he hasn't read them at all.
No, I haven't really gone through them that heavily. How about you guys?
Yeah. I've seen a couple where I'm like, I feel like they did it to be like, when people look back, they'll be like, I did it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't understand like why a comic in that in like this. I'm not against if you want to do it, like do it. I don't get it at all, but it's just like it's like, dude, just be like, you're a person to be funny, and when it's like a whole thing like we have to be better and do better, and it's just like,
Well,
sure,
see,
of course,
Jay,
it's like you're one of just like 7 billion people, like right, but it's like to let people know that you concur with that.
Yeah, but Jay, I completely I understand what you're saying, because there is a feeling of like I'm not good at Twitter. Like I'm not good at being like bop 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 bop. Like the two tweets I've had about it were, one was making fun of Lewis, because I was like, when Lewis is rational, shit is bad.
Yeah,
like when Lewis is having these like tempered things. And then Tim Dillon had a quote where I was like, yeah, Tim nails it, because I think Tim Dillon is a genuine guy in the fact that he was tweeting jokes along with his opinion, and it was coming through. And if you're a fan of Tim Dillon, it wasn't, listen, man, Bonfire fans probably can guess that we're going to talk about this. Now, are there some fringe Bonfire fans that just want to listen other places, not on Sirius, and then comment like, this show fucking sucks, why don't they do voices and drive a fucking bit into the ground? And it's like, yeah, suck my dick, this show isn't for you. You're not, you know what I mean?
Dan,
do
you're
voices.
directing this anger. You are so angry at people that haven't done anything yet. You're like, by the way, when you hate this show, fuck you and fuck your whole family, you piece of shit. I'm
Dan,
like,
the campers love
fine.
you.
Yeah, they're fine, relax.
Jay, welcome into the mind of Dan Soder. I did this with
Jesus
every one of.
Christ.
I
You're
did this
already
with,
angry at them.
I did this with every one of my mom's boyfriends. I was like, try to suck my dick. See what happens. I'll fucking bite your cock off.
Real life hot rod.
Molest me, motherfucker. I dare you.
Dude, I seriously, no joke, thank God, because of therapy. That is my factory setting. Just the way, for some reason, the way I was raised, where I am ready for people to hate me and attack me all the time on stuff where it's just like asking for more ketchup. If you were at McDonald's with me and I was like, I need a couple more packs of ketchup, you would watch me get like a halftime speech in my own head where I'm like, I'm going to walk up there and I forget where we were when I went down to Florida for the Super Bowl, and we went to a McDonald's because everything was closed, and we went and hung out with McDaniel at his hotel, and we wanted to get food, and there was a McDonald's, and it was like in Miami, it was drunk, and like they were kind of running it through, and I had to like get myself psyched up to ask for fucking barbecue sauce, where I was like, these motherfuckers don't want it, so here we fucking go. Can I get some barbecue sauce? And they were like, yeah, here's barbecue sauce. And I was like, thank you.
I'm going to say I want more than one. This is going to be a whole thing. No, buddy, I understand. I share that same thing, but I wanted to say also, in writing down a fucking tweet or a whatever or an Instagram thing, for one, in my mind, seems like it seems like a trivial thing to do it on. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like a trivial platform. Like, we have a broadcast where I can talk, and it's something interesting you told me when you said you talked to Des this weekend. You know, he was like, you know, I think you and Jay would do a good show. I believe I'm quoting this right when you were like, something that's not like, you know, obviously anti-black or anti-cop or whatever, you know, and it's just like going on social media, like it seems the waste of time it felt like to me is like, yeah, I assume if you know me or are following me, like you probably don't assume that I'm like, yeah, yeah, cops murder black people. Like it's just that's a ridiculous sentiment. And I'm like, and why Des, when you said that, I was like, well, he's right that we can talk about it and the whole thing because jokes interjected or whatever like that. Like in the heart of hearts, I'm not anti-black or I have more problem with cops than I have general speaking than I do with black people general speaking.
Yeah,
I mean, but I'm saying like my point is like I'm not anti, so it's like I don't have to like watch my mouth to make sure like, oh, I don't want to say my feelings about this. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like
I think
there's not a self censorship that has to happen on talking about it. Like if you just say the thing like if I just wrote a thing on social media that was like, man, it's really fucked up, man. Like people stop looting, and then you just said you get 15 things from people going like, you think looting's important when people are dying in the streets? And you're like, no, it's not. I don't think looting's worse than people dying. And you have to answer all that shit. So it's like I'm just like, I better just talk about it. You'll get all my feelings about that if we talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. It's Twitter is a very divisive tool. Just is. It's always been a divisive tool. It's good for marketing. It's good for like putting out jokes and shit. But it's also like when you're trying to have a fucking serious situation
and engaging with the fans overall. It's
yeah,
like,
dude, man. Here's the thing about me. I'm a big, dumb, sensitive pussy. I don't know shit. So there's like, I know friends of mine that love to get on Twitter and fucking mix it up. I know there's people of mine that love to just fucking get on Instagram and show pictures of their food and shit. I don't know. I'm just kind of like
Ralph.
Yeah, I just know that we have the Bonfire. We have this thing that we've built over the last 5 years where I honestly feel like, and I've said this before,
built by slaves.
Built by Black Lou, which we did not pay him for.
Thank you, Black Lou.
Oh, well, don't worry. Black Lou, you don't even realize. Look in the back room over there. I bet everything from our Sirius XM studios in there.
I go, why is there a bonfire flag?
One place with a key. He went with a key.
But there is a feeling of like, you know, I think this show is more, whenever I meet people after shows and they're like, oh, I love you on Billions. I'm like, oh, you don't know me. But then if someone's like, dude, I love the Bonfire. There's a guy in our building that knows me and Katie, but he specifically listens to the Bonfire. And so it's weird because it's like seeing a family member you haven't seen in a long time where I'm like, what's up, man? And he's like, is that the dog? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, is Shane coming by to meet it? And I was like, yeah, Jay was here like a couple of weeks ago. He's like, hell yeah, dude, I would have lost my mind if I came down here and Jay and Christine were in the back. And it's like, it's weird to see a guy because I'm like, oh, this guy knows who I am. And this guy knows Jay, and this guy knows Jacob and Black Lou and Witzke and fucking Becky Rodriguez.
Importantly right now, Black Lou.
Well, I was going to lead with Black Lou. I actually thought we were going to change the name of the show to The Bonfire with Black Lou until shit dies down, and then we can fucking white savior.
You can
snow.
can act like
savior. If I start tweeting political, just know that I'm singing that song as I tweet it. I go, and here I am saving blacks with my white logic.
I'll tell you, Black Lou, real opportunity missed. Like when the baby's born, it's an announcement, and if you have a girl, and you just have like playing with, she's biracial.
She's biracial. I would say fucking pump Sean. I would say pump Sean Fury into the delivery room.
Honestly, I would say make him the Godfather, but that's me.
Dude, he calls back and goes, LJ, I would love to be your godfather. He's super into it. Fucking A. But what I love about talking about it on this exact show is that there might be one or two white dudes that, you know what I mean, don't really get it and just get fed by the news. Because I think like we don't really realize how many people out there are just eat what they're fed. as far as when it comes to media or whatever. So looking at it from a different perspective might help, but I feel like Twitter's very bad at that. I feel like you tweet out your opinion and it's either the same opinion as someone and they're going to retweet it, or it's a different opinion than someone and they're going to write you back being like, you're a fucking pussy. And you're like,
I think the jury's out. I think the jury's out of social media is good or bad. I mean, I really do. I don't know. It's like it's done some good.
Well,
it's done a lot of bad, and it's just like it's an odd thing. But look, I get it. That's some people's way to have their voice be heard. I understand that. And by the way, particularly like politicians, other people who are police officers should say something about that. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is just like, where are comedians on this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's on social media. I'm like, just go to my page. Like, hey, when you're done crying about this fucking cop launching this tiny girl down the street where she clunks her head on the ground and shit, like after that, like come over and watch about the time we made Jacob go get somebody in the studio that he didn't want to go get. You know what I mean? Like, just come laugh with us for a few minutes. Like, I don't know. That's in the tweet. I helped Christine compose that tweet earlier about the thing, because it's just like I understand like the weirdness of it not being live and coming on day. You come to the show and it's just like whatever we're talking about, you know. So it's like that's why I'm happy we're going to rush order this one out, because it's an important thing that look, it needs to be talked about and discussed. Unfortunately, there's just no resolution. But again, like where I said I'm Joe Average in the idea of resolution. It's like, why aren't we just like convicted, or not convicted, at least, but like arresting and charging the 4 officers? It just seems like an obvious thing. Like these 4 officers, charge them. And I think the big thing is like, this is a point I wanted to bring up. I'm sorry. It took me so long to get here, but officer training, I don't know what officer training is, but what I think it lacks, and it seems to show in like the behavior of police a lot of the time, is like the job you're taking is to be a fucking robot. You know what I mean? It's like you're actually supposed to be sort of like RoboCop. And look, there's a nice thing in the fact that you bring humanity into a situation where it's like you catch a guy where weed's still illegal with a fucking dime bag of weed, and you go like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or even if you catch him with like a decent amount of weed, and you go, just get the fuck out of here, dude. You know what I mean? Like whatever, and just like let it go. So it's good to have the humanity on that side. But as far as like anger and emotion behind it, taking things personally, like letting somebody go with like a minor thing is not that you took it personally. It's like you just kind of your own humanity came in and you made a call based on the person you are. What's fucking crazy is like the fuck, dude. I'm like losing my train of thought. What is the last sentence I just said about the yes, I know where I'm at. But it's like it's about when they take shit personal.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the videos of that are what scares the shit out of me, because ideally what cops are supposed to do, if you pull out a gun on cops and took a shot at them and missed, and then they got you and they tackle you and they put you in cuffs. The rest of the time they're supposed to still be talking to you like, sir, I need you to sit down here. Okay, now Mr. blah blah blah. Now what do you say? You say that gun's not yours, that you were shooting at us with that gun, so we know the gun is yours. And you know what I mean? It's like it's not what's at it. Their person, what they do if a cop, as if somebody shot at you, Dan, and then you had a chance to fucking lump them up, you'd lump them up because you're being a person. We're putting the trust that all police officers are trained to not do that. That they know that's a job. It's not personal. They're not shooting at fucking, Jeff Thompson, the human being, and they're shooting at the cops. They're trying to fight their way. Do you get what I'm saying? So the humanity side. So I'm watching cops in these videos, a lot of them, not even violent ones necessarily. I'm talking more about the verbal stuff that's blowing my mind. It was one, I think it was like an Asian cop or something. I can't hear what's being said to him, and I'm sure it's vile and whatever is being yelled at him. And you just see he's like holding a fucking gun, dude, like a machine gun looking thing. Maybe it's rubber bullets or I don't know, but he's holding some sort of gun. And he's like, "Fuck you, bitch! No, fuck you, bitch!" And he's doing that, and you're like, "Dude, you're a cop, man! Like you,
this and is an Asian cop. Don't you? Isn't your weapon karate?"
Yeah, what are you doing with that gun, dude? You can catch bullets with your teeth. Catching bullets with his teeth.
He's just holding a bow staff as she's talking to him, and he goes, just spreads out, and you go, "Get away!" Dude, I think we just solved a problem. Cops aren't allowed guns, but they're all heavily trained in martial arts.
Yeah, that's it. Everything's got to be hand to hand.
Ninja cops. There's no way that's going to go wrong.
As dumb as it sounds, I know there's so much violence, but one of the scariest videos, like that one stood out to me a lot because I'm like, damn, dude, you're just acting like a guy outside of a bar who someone's talking shit to. It's like, you're the uniform. Like, you have to eat that shit, man, because they have a right to sit there and curse you out and do whatever. They put their hands on you and you fucking throw them against the wall and arrest them. I guess that's the law. You know what I mean? You can't put your hands on an officer like that. I get it. But it's like, if they're just in there going like, fuck you, you fucking, if he's like yelling fucking racial shit at the cop or whatever the fuck it is, it's just like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. It's like, oh man, it's like there's no gray area.
You're supposed to be
you got to eat that shit or arrest them because they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's difficult. That's why I try to afford some sort of respect for the job, but I don't feel that. I feel like that's a criteria not being met a lot.
I've seen I understand what you're saying, and I see where you're coming from, but I've also seen the videos where cops do get shot at, and that shit's fucking terrifying. And if I were in that same position, dude, I don't know if I would be able to not shoot back.
Oh no, I'm not.
If you're getting shot at, it's like you have every right to shoot back. And I really believe.
Yeah, wait, I want to make sure I'm clear that on that, Black Lucas. I'm not saying about that. I'm saying if you're in a gunfight with a person,
that's fucking.
My point is saying like if you're in a gunfight and the guy runs out of bullets and comes out and goes, "I give up. I'm done. I'm sorry. I give up." Like they do go. I almost even understand like being rough with the arresting. I've seen that before. It sucks, but I mean like, but really, what I think they're supposed to do is arrest. Pick him up, roll over, goes, all right, you have ID? You know, look at the, oh, okay, Mr. The rest of the time calling him Mr. whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not supposed to be like, you're not supposed to take it personal that guy was shooting at you. I get that you do what I'm saying, but anybody would. I thought that's kind of the purpose of cops is to just be like a robotic, like fucking machine of like, of justice. And it's same thing all the ways, like to make people, and I think there's a slow roll of change over time, and people kind of just get used to like things being a certain kind of way because and we touched on this on Skanks for a moment, but I mean like I think it's a much larger problem than it seems, even though it's like harmless ultimately. But again, I live on a cop block, so I see like they just throw on the cherries so they can go through a red light and then turn them back off and they get through the thing, and you're like, you're not breaking the law is not like enforcing the law or protecting. You know what I mean? Like every time they're parked in front of a hydrant, they're parked in front of a thing. It's like, I get it that the world just kind of goes like, we just sort of understand like, yeah, that's what cops do. They take those liberties, but like, they're not supposed to. But when you keep getting a little bit more, they just become drunk where they're like, what do you mean, girl? I have a placard, even in our fucking Toyota Camry. Me and my wife are going to a restaurant. There's no parking. Just park here right at the hydrant and put the placard in the window. And it's like, no, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, I think a way to say that is like it's like, hey, police, behave the way you want us to behave. If you're gonna fucking wait at a light or whatever. But I think it's I was looking at
I honestly don't give a shit about that stuff. It's like, just don't be fucking violent and take people's shit. Yeah, I said even as like a club manager.
I know you don't have any feelings about that. None of us really do too much. When I see a cop at a hydrant, I'm like, I don't think about it every time, but I'm just saying it's a behavior pattern that's just like, everything. It's, that Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they got the cop uniforms in the old car. It's one of the funniest things. It's true. It's like they all became drunk with the power of it. Yeah. And it's just like, it's such a funny, like telling thing. It's just true. It's like, you don't realize you have the power. It's like you're enforcing like the rights and liberties and freedoms of the civilians. But it's too on paper. You know what I mean? I don't think a real applied thing to it.
Yeah. I saw a picture though of like one of the National Guard in Minneapolis. And there was a protester yelling at the National Guard, and it was like, it was just a picture, it wasn't a video. And the National Guard guy is clearly like a Mexican dude in soldier gear, and the protester's like a young black woman, and it's like, yeah, this guy's taking a job because it's the National Guard, and he's getting like $55K a year in healthcare and looking for benefits, wants to get a regular job. But like to him, the National Guard is like a job. It's like a $35,000 job. And then this black woman's furious with the treatment of black people in this country. She's yelling at him. And I'm kind of like, I found it interesting to be like, neither one of you is the cause of this on the bigger level. You know what I mean? Like when you read that article, I read that article that there's like billionaires during the COVID epidemic have made something like an insane amount of money. They put out the money of like all these billionaires are just making so much money during the pandemic. And you're like, well, isn't that part of the problem? Like if you're taking away all the resources and it's going to 5 families, and then you're having everyone else fight for these scraps. Like that guy that's in the National Guard is probably doing that because he just wants a job and put lights on for his wife and kid. And then that protester just wants a fucking regular life. It's weird for me to see how it comes down to that when you look at all the way at the top of like these billionaires that are causing these problems. They're not out in the streets. They don't fucking care. They're in New Zealand right now in their compound. There's kind of like
you hope in the early goings that the family of George Floyd, like the family and friends, get some kind of like solace in knowing like, I mean, acquitted or not acquitted and going to jail for the rest of his life. Like that Colvin dude will never have a not miserable day the rest of his, however long as the rest of his life is. He won't have another good, there's just no, I mean, like in his mind, he might as well just stay in jail. He'll be looking over his shoulder the rest of his life. Might as well just go to jail because like, it's no, dude. He's done like there's nobody. His wife's divorcing him. She made that announcement. Like she's divorcing him. Just like the whole guy's like
but you know what, man?
It's a cold blooded murder on video. It's
an interesting point. An interesting point got brought up to me. That divorce is actually a pretty clever move because if she takes everything of his in the divorce, then when the Floyd family sues him in, not in criminal court, I can't think of it, in civil court. Then all of his assets belong to her. So they can't sue her for his assets. You understand what I'm saying? Like they can sue the state, they can sue the police department, but if they're going to come after what he owns and it's divorced and it's already given to his wife, well, then it's kind of like, well, that was already taken. So it's
I mean, they're going to get their money in that regard. You'd hope from like the city and the
but you hope. But the second you said that he's going to be convicted, Black Lou started shaking his head. And I think that's the exact, like, Black Lou, do you think this guy's going to see it's third-degree murder charge?
I think he'll be dead in weeks if he gets acquitted.
That's what I was going to say, though. I feel like, what's the guy that shot Trayvon Martin? He's
George Zimmerman.
He's still walking around. All this guy would have to do is find a community of people, of like-minded people who think like him, maybe with hoods, maybe not with hoods. I think if he were to move into a lower part of Georgia.
Yeah.
Or mid-Texas, I think he would be okay.
You think he'll be okay, and then he'll just be doing like fucking celebrity boxing matches against George Zimmerman?
Yeah, really. I guess you're right, man. Like George Zimmerman, like
he lives. Dude, I'm surprised there's not a porn tape out there. I'm surprised there hasn't been a porn tape out of George Zimmerman. You know what I mean? Like doing those. You do that.
Like, he's that level of like like the girl who fucking what was the girl? The Sydney Leathers. She fucked. That was Wiener.
Yeah, but like Wiener, but also like
no. I'm saying like it was the girl who was fucking around with him, like started doing porn afterward. They all jump into celebrity boxing or celebrity rehab or some shit like that. And it's like, I mean, it's funny, George Zimmerman, maybe because he was like it seemed like it was one, that guy's Hispanic, for one thing, which I think as far as like drawing the firm line in the sand wasn't so much there.
Yeah.
But the guy is also because it was like civilian on civilian crime to some degree.
Man, I don't know, but
this is like an anger at a system here. But I guess that was because he got acquitted. But I mean, that was more like.
But so was Ahmaud. You look at the murder in Georgia, where it was just two guys that were told to fucking patrol this neighborhood in Georgia, and then Ahmaud Arbery's like fucking jogging, and then they're like, "Oh, that's the suspect," and then they just fucking shoot him dead. And it's kind of like that was very similar to the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin murder. Yeah. I see what you're saying, though, that this was actually like a police officer of a city, and it was like documented. And the thing that's really fucking hard to watch, just from a human perspective, just from human to human, is watching George Floyd beg for his life, like the way Eric Gardner did, where it's like these people are asking, like, dude, the guy, I told you this, Jay, on the phone, but it was like the hardest part for me was watching this guy cry out for his mother who's dead already.
Whew.
Yeah.
Mom's dead. Like, you have to be in such a place mentally. You have to be in such a place of like, I'm about to die for you to be like, Mom, and she's already dead. Like, that to me, it was like, that whole video was so heartbreaking because you just see what you see is basically a man with his knee into another man's neck, and on his face is nothing but pure apathy. And I understand it's kind of what you were saying, Jay. It goes back to that point where you're saying, like, aren't these people supposed to be trained like machines, and aren't they supposed to react like RoboCop? And it's like, unfortunately, they do in the worst situations possible. And that's like one of those situations where your knee's on a man's neck and he's like, please, I can't breathe. And then you're just like, well, until I fucking get the call on my radio, I'm not letting this up. And they said he was dead for a couple minutes. He was non-responsive for a couple minutes. So it's like, there is a point where it's like, how do you have that? How do you hear that? And maybe this is because I'm a giant pussy, but how do you hear that and you're not like, oh, fuck, dude. All right. I could never be a cop because I'd immediately be like, fuck, you sit up. You need some water? What's going on? You all right? We got you handcuffed. You're not going
Well, there's
anywhere.
no reason for a cop to ever have their knee on somebody's neck they have in handcuffs unless it, I mean, I could see it like if there was no backup and the cop was like had to wrestle him down because that guy in cuffs even was stronger and faster than him. But there was 4 other cops standing around. Like there's just no, like that should just never happen. It should never be okay when something like this does happen. It's like now what I'm looking for is like, okay, what's the accountability? What legislation, what bills need to be written? What laws need to be passed that are going to hold police officers accountable for their actions, particularly if they kill someone? Yeah. Like if somebody ends up with a black eye, they should like get a fucking settlement from the police department. But to be killed for nothing. And that's why I said, if somebody opens up gunfire on the cops, then, you know, whatever. Now you're in a crossfire. Like you started this motherfucker. But it's like, even if a guy's running away, a cop shouldn't be like shooting at him to stop him.
Christine, like most white girls, says every black dick lost is an important one.
Well, and that the cop with the emotionless thing on his face is you go, it really puts in perspective where you're like, wow, there really are some people that just think like one less.
Yeah,
but
Black
he worked with him at a nightclub. Like
he worked with
the same place.
He worked with George Floyd?
Yeah.
He worked with
George
Floyd.
The cop?
Yeah. They were both bouncers at a nightclub.
No shit.
Oh.
At the same time?
For years.
So then there's probably something darker to this than the story if they had a pre-existing relationship.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe, but
I didn't even know that till right now.
I didn't know that till right now.
Black Lou, did you know this? That George Floyd was the star of a porn scene. Mm-hmm. And he had
that was the Skanks episode.
Yeah, he had a big old fat dong. Yeah, we found it on Skanks. It was, we didn't find out.
The Skanks tribute to George Floyd.
It's out there. The news is out in the world. Yeah, I mean, this thing was honestly, I mean, this guy's dick. I mean, if he would have gotten hard during that scuffle, he would have thrown all 4 of those cops across the street. I'm telling you, that thing was big. And but it was just so fucking, what a crazy this little asterisk on the story there. It goes, oh, yeah, guy also did a porn scene for some reason. Yeah, but it's
I didn't know they worked together. I had no clue that they worked together at a club in Minneapolis. I mean, that's got to be, that's a thing when you find out where you're like, oh, so this was personal. So this was absolutely personal.
It's gonna go crazier because I heard they were Prince and Kirby Puckett's personal security detail.
I heard that they were a tag team champions in the old AWA for years, and then this is the ultimate turn. What a heel turn!
They were at opposite side defensive ends for the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, you guys didn't know that? They played at UMin. They won a Big Ten title on the same D line, and you go, these guys know each other. Actually, what's crazy is this guy signed George Floyd's yearbook saying, "I'm going to get you one day." That's what's crazy. They found his senior high school yearbook, and you're like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ, this thing goes back.
Hey, George, good luck with everything. Keep the man off your neck.
Yeah, there you go.
Paul Van. See?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, but I think the question is now.
Keep the man off your neck.
Yeah.
Poetic. What a poetic turn of circumstance.
Oh, my God. Sorry, Mr. Yeah, it's like, sorry, Mr. Royd's had his knee in your neck this whole year. And you're like, what? My question is like, how does this end? Like, how does this, or what does this bring about? I mean, that's the whole reason we're talking about this. Like, do you think, is this just another thing? Is this just another thing where people, forget?
Let's tell people if they have.
I think
if they haven't. If Christine say, we should tell people, Dan. Also, you'll back this up. If people haven't seen it yet, man, watch Killer Mike's speech, dude. It was great.
Please.
Yeah,
it was really, really great, man. That guy's super eloquent and real. Also, with his with how good he is at speaking and stuff like this, he's very real. And you just have to love the fact that, like, on just his own like integrity of everything. Like it doesn't even say like, rapper Killer Mike and then his real name and asterisks, like, activist or whatever. It's like just Killer Mike. I love it. Like CNN is just Killer Mike and the thing. He had a shirt on that says, Kill Your Masters.
Yeah,
and
it's a Run the Jewels thing.
Yeah. It's a great speech. I don't know if it's the right word. It's just like he just speaks. I don't know if it's a speech.
Well, he was he caught a lot of shit because I think a lot of people were upset that they were telling him like, don't tell us not to protest. And I don't think that's the point he was making. I think the point that he's saying, don't just burn down. That's what I said before. Was the cop out here? Atlanta. He was saying Atlanta specifically.
Sure. I go to Atlanta all the time.
I go to Atlanta all the time. And I think it was one of those speeches where he was talking in the moment specifically about Atlanta while the riots were going on, while the protests had turned to riots in Atlanta. I think he was kind of like, hey guys, let's not fucking do this. This hurts our cause more than it helps.
It's when they got Rodney King to go on TV, remember, and be like,
This is from the Atlanta police chief, actually. And I thought that was like a great perspective on it.
I'll read it. Although she didn't join the crowd, remarks made by Atlanta Police Chief Erica Shields Friday to a black woman protester made the rounds online. Let me tell you something. I am standing here because what I saw was my people face to face with this crowd, and everybody's thinking, how can we use force and diffuse this? And I'm not having it. I'm not having that, she said to the protester. You have a right to be upset, to be scared, and to want to yell. And we're going to have everybody doing what they need to do, and we're going to do it safely. That's my first commitment, and I hear you. And that is great, man. But I mean, I don't know, man.
She's like a feisty, like I'm pretty sure this is like a feisty dyke. So, it's something like where it's like, that
sounds
nice
like a flavor. That sounds like a flavor of something.
I looked her up and I'm like, oh, this is like a feisty. And like, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's married, but she looks like a little bit of a Joan of Arc. So I like her.
Is that a Jamba Juice? Feisty dyke?
It's extra protein.
Yeah. Can I get a vitamin boost on my feisty dyke?
Is this the red?
Wait, hang on, I have the picture I was trying to share, but look, I think it's a good description of her.
Hey, what's up? Oh yeah. Hey guys,
she's always smiling.
She looks like remember in the old SNL video with Martin Short and Harry Shearer, and Martin Short's like the special needs brother, and they're synchronized swimmers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a strong swimmer.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Dyke, straighten these motherfuckers out.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. It's the Bonfire.
The people fighting the cops, and there's burning cars, and there's this, and people going out and just like screaming and yelling for days, and just yelling at the skies, and just whatever it is, getting this all out. The problem is why these things die down, honestly, is like they just do, if you notice. They just do die down because people eventually, it's like they give this explosion of emotion, and then just like, distraction of the world, man. Wait, let me say this. It's this distraction of the world kind of gets in the way. And I think what Killer Mike's point almost is, it's like, don't lose don't go out and like burn a cop car and set a building on fire and like watch that and be like, yeah, we've done something to fucking show them how pissed off we are. Like, bring that to like actual tactical solutions to a thing. So it's like stay angry enough that when it comes time for, like he was saying, that the point he was making, like when it comes time for elections, so you can have the prosecutor in office that you want. When it comes time for that, be angry enough to really like get everyone you fucking know to go stand in that line and vote with you. You know what I'm saying? Because what actually happens is you're like, dude, you get angry, thinking like, I'm gonna go fucking that's it, dude. We're gonna vote this motherfucker out of thing, and then it's just like you watch a building burn and a cop car on fire, and then you go home and like 3 months later when it's like election time, you just like like I'm in the middle of a game of Madden. Like there hasn't been protests for months now, and do you know what I mean? Like, well, dude, it's like you need to keep that anger of not burning down a building and like really going like we need to have like you got to play the long game a little bit.
Absolutely. And I always feel like it's the same when I always call it the emotional orgasm, like in the NFL playoffs or any kind of big sporting thing where you'll see like someone in like a divisional game or like the NFC championship, they'll win it in like dramatic fashion and then they'll cry and they'll be like, we did it. It's fucking did it. And then they're kind of flat in the Super Bowl or they're flat the next big game, because you're right. It's like, you can't lose this steam before November. You can't lose this steam when going into November, you can actually affect things and affect long-term things, because I think we saw in 2016 a lot of apathy was around. People are like, "Oh, Hillary or Trump? Great, we get to vote for fucking A or B." You know what I mean? And then you forget that there's like a bunch of lower-level elections that directly affect your community.
And Dan, I think I understand your point that if the cops keep killing black people, what happens to sports? And I think that's a fair, really not popular take to have on this, Dan, but I appreciate the fact you go. And I'll tell you this, I'll say it for you, Dan. And if you're out there and you're listening and you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself and fuck your mother while you're at it, you piece of shit who don't like this show.
Jay, you're kind of infringing on my territory. So if I can pick up where my friend left off, if you don't like anything we said on this show, you fucking die. You die in a fire.
Your next live show that you do, I hope everyone goes up to you afterwards and they go, "Dude, I love everything you do." He goes, "I was not a big fan of the one episode about the George Floyd thing, but besides that, you guys are pure perfection." You go, "I fucking
you know what that really comes down to, though, that I didn't notice before I lived with Katie, is I've never lived with a girlfriend, and they can just kind of see how you treat yourself. Mm-hmm. And she just goes, "You're so mean to yourself." Like, we were just sitting there one day. She's like, "You are crazy." She's like, "I'm good at being mean to myself." She's like, "You are next level. Like, what the fuck?" And it is like, I think there's a lot of people that are back to like the social media thing. They kind of use that as a way to fucking talk to themselves, as opposed to reading, learning what the situation is, and then reacting. They're kind of like, "Yeah," because I'm fucking great at that.
Well, I told you that was one of my favorite like responses I ever had on social media to a thing was like, "I don't get it. Why is this funny? Like, this sucks. It's just like trite hack nonsense bull, whatever it was. It was just like a shitting on me completely." And I just wrote, "I didn't know the voice in my head has a Twitter, what is an Instagram account."
That's really funny.
That's a great answer to have to that, because I'm like, "Yeah, dude, fucking like, sure. Everything you're saying about this clip, I've said to myself, I go, is this even funny? I suck. This is dumb."
Dude. Whenever I've had any opinion, I've been like, "Who are you? Who are you to have an opinion, you fucking tard?" And it's like, also this is the thing. But this is a situation, you know, where I feel like you need to talk about it. You need to bring attention to this, because Jay, it's something you said earlier in the show. What if it were Black Lou? What if it were Sherrod or one of our friends or someone that?
Well, that seems more likely.
But just something, you know, somebody where you just like
names that make sense, dude. What if it was Jimmy Martinez? Yes, that could probably go down. What if it was
Lewis,
young Kareem Green, Lewis,
Tan Lewis? It's just like there's
Tan Lewis.
But you know, I don't know, Black Lou. What do you, as the sole black member of the Bonfire?
So I want someone to edit together all the time. How many times you started thinking with Black Lou? You go, as a black person, how do you?
Well, Jay, if we're having a conversation about fucking short kings and just you and me or the tall guys talking, and we don't get any perspective.
I know, but you can just ask the question. It's like, so is as a black person, so you just go, "Black Lou, what do you think about the so-and-so?" Black Lou, you're black. Now answer this question.
Yeah. Well, you know what, dude?
I'm just lucky.
But I go, "Now you hate me? You know what? Fuck this whole show."
You're so sensitive today. I was like, "I'm just fucking around with you." It was just funny. Every time it's happened, I was waiting for him to build up. So I go, "Black Lou, as a black person."
Yeah.
What do you
hold on, Jacob, as a Jew, how do you feel?
As a dirty Jew.
I'm going to start doing that with everything now.
DJ Lou, as a bookie enforcer.
Fucking Pollock.
Christine, you show a lot of shoulder. You're a slut. What would you think about?
Christine, tell me something from the Slut Peanut Gallery.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something from the Slut Peanut Gallery is that what has been amazing to see with all this anger and stuff coming up about social issues, because, you know, I think racism is like such a dark one. I mean, no pun intended, but racism is such a dark issue in this country.
It's a big dark one.
But so is like sexism and these other things. And from what I've seen is that raising a stink works. So there's something about like this marching and this yelling about things online where I'm like, okay, so Me Too started as a bunch of bitches fucking talking shit on Twitter and telling their experiences. And somehow Jeffrey Epstein's fucking dead. Harvey Weinstein's in jail. Bill Cosby's locked up. So it's like, okay, so maybe all this causing a stink will come in and settle something where we go, okay, so now we need change. Like now we need responsibility. Now we need accountability. There's a lot of people that thought they were going to get away with stuff because they're old school, where I'm like, no, we see you now. You're on camera now. We're watching this happen in front of our own eyes, and it's not okay. And it's like, that might seem a little Orwellian and like Big Brother in nature, but at the same time, you're like, be honorable, have integrity.
And Christine's right. I mean, this really does come down to like black dick. Christine, you make a good point there.
Yeah.
That's all I heard.
You're a Jew.
Yeah, Christine has been such great.
What did Lou send me? I'll send you a picture that Lou sent me today.
That was one of my favorite things.
Funny. I love
Christine, as a white woman who understands the black struggle, can you
I identify as black now? I didn't tell you.
Christine, you've been calling yourself a Nubian queen off air for quite some time.
Yeah, you've been sleeping in Erykah Badu head wraps, and I'm starting to ask myself,
who
is this Shaka Zulu that I hooked up with?
Real quick, I rewatched Ali Sadiq and Chris Cotton when you guys did the Black Italians, and I could watch it a million times, dude. It's so fucking funny.
As a black man, do you find it to be an okay, appropriate joke?
As a person that has been the victim of systemic racism, do you feel like you know what? Let's get Mike Vecchione on so he can have us the opinion of the Italian American.
Don't open your mouth for black dick, but keep it closed on blackish. I
want to get this shirt printed for me and all my friends.
You should get it printed. It's a major. It's written wrong. Shouldn't it just be open your mouth for black dick, but keep it closed?
No, it's saying don't go around fucking hooking up with black guys, and then when you see fucking there's some real shit going on, just act like it doesn't have any effect on you. It's like you have an understanding. It's like there's something about me where race. Like I've had to reevaluate the things I've been told about a lot of things in my life.
I gotta tell you,
there's something for me where I'm like, I could very well. It's like there's something in me where I go, I could have a black child. Like I could have, I could have an Asian child, right? Just knowing that, like I in my life could birth a black child. It's just like, come on, guys, like let's fucking not act like we're better than each other. Like
that would be an awkward delivery room. That would be an awkward delivery room, Christine.
When Jay is like, whoa. Also, I didn't realize that I've been Black Lou. I've been Byron Allen-ing him with every topic. Right? Black Lou, you're black.
Black Lou, you're black fox.
Black Lou, you've been a black your whole life. What are you chatting on this?
What do you think? You work out.
Black Lou, you work out. Christine, I gotta be honest with you. That shirt's stupid. That shirt, it's just a dumb. I don't know when people throw into like, oh yeah.
It is. It's a dumb meme, and I'm joking when I say I'm going to print it on a shirt. But I just thought it was like cute and funny, and it's just like a little joke. You don't need to dissect it so much. Jesus, sorry to make you laugh.
Whoa, guys.
Christine,
I'm sorry I'm not funny to you.
Guys, you guys are a gay couple. What's it like going?
Yeah, Christine, you're a guy. As a white man, let me ask you.
You're a slut pig.
Dude, Jay and I were joking around. We were like, yeah, dude, white privilege with police officers is you just have to treat every police officer like they're a stripper cop, and then they won't ever murder you.
Oh yeah. It's like when they kick your feet open so they get frisky. And you go, ooh. Here we go.
Oh, my under. Ooh,
you want to fuck me?
You gonna read me my Miranda rights?
Oh, now you want to fuck me?
We go. Do I have anything on me? Well, I may have hit some drugs on my butt if you want to check.
Yeah, if you want to know if you go, ooh, do I have the right to remain Randy?
That's when they rape you to show you what a homo you are.
Yeah, and then I go,
what the fuck is Christine talking about? Well,
Christine's wilding out, man. She's going nuts.
That's definitely isolated, right, Lou?
Yes, please, God. That's a great motherfucking drop.
Yeah, fuck you to show you what a homo you are.
Fuck you to show you what a homo you are.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've just been.
DJ Lou was reading that like he was in a fucking police van and she was wearing a wire, and he's like, "We got her. We got her."
That's when they rape you to show you what a homo you are.
Yeah, we got her. Rolling.
Christine's become a day stoner, so she's coming in just fucking goofy.
I go next week. I stop smoking weed during the day because I have to admit, and it's like I think addictions and struggles on the show are part of it, but I've been getting like fucked up. Like I've been taking a Valium here and there. I've been taking like ecstasy, about once a week for the last 5 weeks. And
a
I've
club
just
kid?
been a little like fucked up, but then
You're wearing
also
fur
feeling
boots
and
around the
also
house.
feeling like I can't get fucked up enough. Like me and Jay were like, we gotta stop taking this Molly because like it's like not fucking doing what I want it to do anymore.
She ordered 15 different colored unicorn horns.
It's crazy that she's been eating candy necklaces for 3 weeks.
I'm like, we can't laugh, we can't fuck, we like can't do anything. So it's just been a little like, okay, like let's fucking, you know, I guess take a Valium and watch Supernatural because you go outside and the streets are blocked off.
Jay's like, and there ain't nothing wrong with
Nothing
that.
wrong with that, dude. I'll tell you what. You want to get these people together, sit black people down. You sit them down with the police, and you get them fucking stoned and watch Supernatural together. And then everyone's gonna. It really will. Jensen. If anyone could do
With a
it,
Pepsi.
Jensen Ackles.
With a Pepsi.
Jensen Ackles is the guy.
This show is about new beginnings.
I'm telling you, he's the guy that could really make some sense of all this chaos right now.
I mean,
He's like, hey, I stand to you on a stage that I made out of a piece of wood I found out in the woods. It was just laying there calling to me. It was dying, and it wanted me to give it life again.
you guys are gonna think this is pretty cool, but I made this entire oak stage off an old panel of a slave ship. I'm just gonna play some old spirituals that I learned that my friend taught me, and everyone's like, Jensen, don't do it.
What once brought hate now brings love.
Yeah.
It's also a rough place to just not be confronted with the hardcore of it. Like, I don't know. I grew up in Los Angeles and I, have lived my entire adult life in New York. So it's like, I don't see it as up close and personal as I think that it is in the rest of the country.
Christine should have to go do a study of Mississippi, like rural Mississippi, for like 3 months and just come back. And she's like, guys, it's bad out there. It is pretty fucking rough. There are some counties in Ohio that are tense.
Yeah, there's some guys in Mississippi wearing Officer Colvin jerseys today.
I thought of
They got his high school jersey.
They're doing fantasy racist murder drafts where they go, who you got? They go Zimmerman first pick always.
You know what's funny, man? There's even like a fucking legitimate like level of racism too that you kind of have to have for a situation like this. It's kind of beyond your ho hum run of the mill, just like general
convenient racism.
I don't really mix it up much with black people. You know what I mean? Like someone feel like that. Like for you, if you go like, good man, I guess I got my saying. If you're not upset with this cop who did this, if you're not upset with the cop, then you are like you're a lunatic. Like you're a person who believes like somebody should die. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you go, then you really have like the evil, like one less.
Yeah, that
human on the earth. Do you know what I'm saying? Because even if you're like, I don't want to live in a black neighborhood and I don't want my daughter to date a black guy, and you watch that video, I promise you, people of that level of racism are still going like, whoa, dude, like that guy's got to go to jail.
Well, I think it's so. I think you're right, and I think it's so such a hard thing to watch. And as a human, you watch that, and you're like, oh fuck. But I think where the shift is for racists is they go like, well, cops are killing white people. Why aren't we protesting that? Cops are killing white people, and you're like, yeah, but I don't think they do it with such the same flair that they do it with black people. I think they put some real heat on it. Jacob, you're a Jewish man. Do you feel that lawyers will benefit throughout all this, representing either the whites or the blacks?
It's no, that's what I'm saying. It's like really like this is I'm talking more about people like I think there's a lot more like separatist racism maybe than like visceral like they should be dead racism in this country. You know what I'm saying? More like separatist race where it's just like I don't want to live in neighborhood with black people. I don't want to do whatever. Not someone that's like I want people dead. There's probably a lot more of that just like old-timey like ideals of like I don't want to mix it up with it. Let them live their lives and we'll do ours over here.
It's crazy how many cultures are against interracial.
Christine, just smoke your bowl. But there's all kinds
she starts doing uppers now, and she goes, hold on, I got an idea. Why don't we call the bonfire? Yeah, what were you gonna say, Jay?
Yeah,
there's all kinds of.
I don't know, where was I exactly?
You're saying separatist racism versus
all kinds of things, but it's like about the evil of someone who's like okay with this. But the separatist racism, like the reason I think we let that roll off our shoulders, and maybe that's not a good thing. I think the reason like where I'm always just kind of like that seems like a harmless thing to me because I'm like, if you want to just keep to one fucking, there's been a million great jokes about this. Mets had one of those too, but like you were to keep to just like everyone's like a pasty, lily white, exact same thing as you. I'm not even saying in complexion. I'm just saying like just a cookie cutter version of something that you and you're into and stuff like that, and no exposure to anything else. Like I'm always like, that's kind of their loss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I don't listen to black music because and then you're just like, oh, well, you're just missing out on a lot of great music. You know what I mean? Like I don't hang out and do whatever with black people. Like, all right, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm almost like, sure, like don't do it, I guess, but it's like it's you know, to some degree it's your loss. Some of the most important, like high valued people in my life have been, I'm naming names because it's not even like a name drop thing, but just like people, it's like black people have like, I mean, holy shit, particularly in comedy, have like mentored me through my first fucking 15 years of this career. You know what I mean? And David Tell's black. No, but you know what I'm saying, but like so it's just like I've never overthought. Anytime I've been called a racist, it doesn't resonate in my soul at all. I don't have to look and go, oh, wait a second, am I racist? Like, no. It's like you're calling me that because of like whatever joke. Same way you say I'm transphobe because of a tranny joke. You know what I mean? Like it rolls off your shoulders. I'm not wrestling with it in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's a very interesting thing, but like maybe it's not good to overlook the people that are like, can we just stay separate? And it's like, the things like it's like a freedom. That's a choice you can make. So that's I'm saying. I think there's a lot more of that than there are like people deserve to die. And I think a separatist racist, I mean, is unless you're like a godless animal, like doesn't think that's okay what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to live in a neighborhood with black people, but I certainly don't think anybody should be killed while they're fucking handcuffed. You know what I mean? Like it's got to cross some lines, and it's like, you know, where are those people? But I mean, like, you know, it's a weird thing to come out about, I guess. But it's just like it's just interesting times, man. I know we took the whole show on it today. It's been a good show.
I just want everybody to start talking to each other like fucking humans. That's all. We all have preconceived notions about like cops and maybe.
Wait, Black Lou, make that statement official. Black Lou is a black man. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Thank you, Jay. There's no way we can cut this up.
As an African American gentleman such as myself,
Salam alaikum.
But I've had my experience with dick cops, and I've been in some situations where I fucked up, where I was driving like an asshole, and cops have let me off. So like, I mean, really let me off, like been really good to me. Where, you know, I definitely, again, to reiterate, like I definitely see both sides, especially the side of like we need to stop killing black people. I just want us to actually sit down and have conversations, and hopefully that shit works. It may never work. The shit country's built on racism, dude. It just may never change. It may never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just like I don't know where.
Well, it's
I don't know what the first step is. I have no idea what the first step is towards it.
Lou, I mean, I think Lou just said it pretty clearly. Is that I think if we start talking to each other as people and start eliminating all these like individual goals or individual feelings, and just start talking and being like, you know, there's a thing about extending. You know, there's not a lot of neighborly love in this country. There's not a lot of like, hey, what do you need? I always think of that. I remember it get brought up in Boardwalk Empire, but the famous painting, The Allegory of Spoons, where they said there's like a scene in hell and there's a scene in heaven, and it's the same scene where it's a giant meal in front of people. But they have long spoons, and in hell they can't eat the food because the spoons are so long that by the time they get the food to their mouth, it drops off. Mm-hmm. But heaven is the same exact scene, but people are using the spoons to feed each other. And I know that sounds gay as shit, but I like that analogy because I feel like it's like, man, if you take a little bit of time to ask your friends that are in different situations than you are how you can help or try to understand it better, I think it's just better for the mind frame of the community as a whole.
Dude, you are sexy as fuck when you get deep, dude.
Thanks, dog. You want a kiss?
I mean, no shit, you are sexy as fuck. Did you get all that, DJ Lou? DJ Lou, as a white DJ.
DJ Lou.
There's oddly Milo Yiannopoulos, who, you know, the gay man that was labeled a Nazi who has a black husband. He said on Skinks, he said, the future of this country is uniquely black and white. And it really is a unique situation we're in. And it's like, we're also a country founded on genocide in the first place.
The problem is it's not
we
unique.
like, it's, you know, but, you know, slavery is also like a humanity issue. And it's like, we're just still so young in it. And I think it really is important that we all have an understanding that even though we might feel that as an individual we're progressed and that like we have the right views. It's like we need to help bring that information to the masses.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, man. I
that
was,
you like help try to actually go like we need to change the norm here.
you know, what's so funny is growing up is, you know, if you want to shift it from blacks to Native Americans, it was one of those things. Growing up in Colorado, you were just like, yeah, no, I'm from Aurora. This is nice. It's Denver. It's a smaller town. And then in 5th grade, we took a field trip to a reservation. And you're just looking at kids that are your age, and you're just like, they're stuck on a reservation, and we're going to visit it.
What's up,
like,
mudbloods?
You know what I mean? Like you're going to a gift shop and buying a bow and arrow and these like little arrows, and you're like, "Yay! Let's go back to our town." And these like
look at
other
that kid over there. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And these 10-year-olds are just like, "Hey, fuck you, man! Like we don't have running water." And we're like, "All right, bye. I got soccer practice at 4." And they're like, "I don't have fucking." I think it's one of those things where you're right, Christine. It's people just need to start fucking having better conversations. And Christine, you're half mixed. So what would you say? I'm gonna start doing that now on every episode just to stay consistent.
Black Lou, as a black guy, after this show, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Are you gonna put on a bulletproof vest and a helmet to go get your mail, or?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get some TVs, player. I don't need no mail.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's so funny if we go in the next episode tomorrow, we just see the same angle, but there's like a flat screen above the door. And all that stuff. Where'd you
Can I
get that?
can I give it a little bit of a looter's note?
Yeah.
LG TV, which is what I have in my living room, which is that's the true black. The picture is unbelievable. It's a great television. One thing LG is always seems to be behind everybody on, Samsung particularly, is the apps.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the HBO Max, not an app yet on the LG TV. Whatchamacallit's not an ESPN Plus. Not
Really?
an app on the TV. No, I have to go on my PlayStation to do it out there. And my Samsung in the bedroom has all of those things.
Jay,
Looter's note,
but
keep
also
the Samsung, unless you don't care about the apps and you have a PlayStation, then the LG is a superior picture. Not a white superior picture, a superior picture.
But I think it's taken us 2 hours, but Jay really has gotten to the issues. And that's true. LG TV.
Looter's note.
Dude, I just say I want to bring
if you're living with Samsung privilege, you need to realize that your Samsung privilege was given to you.
Looter's note, Sonos speakers are not backwards compatible. They eventually will not update if you get an older model. So you have to keep them as current as possible. If you're
Looter's note, don't pull any stuff out of the freezer. You're going to have to go immediately home. It might melt.
If you're robbing a Best Buy, I'll be honest with you, hit the Magnolia section first. That's where all the big ticket stuff is. You got to hit the Magnolia. I don't know why it's called that, but that's where you're going to find the flattest TVs and the sickest speakers.
White people that are looting, stop stealing such white things. Surfboards and other things are going to get you caught.
Yeah, it's a little obvi when you got a fucking price tag hanging off the
You go, who broke into this REI? And you go, it definitely wasn't the black people.
Yeah, all the rock climbing equipment gone. Like, yeah, that's
there's guys, we're out of fleeced vests, and you go, I'm thinking black.
By the way, on Legion of Skanks, that's what I did the entire 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Whenever I wasn't talking and other people were talking, I just kept naming things that are available to loot still because they're white things that no one's got yet.
Yeah.
There's like snowsuits, I believe, also still widely available.
Snowshoes.
Dog sleds.
Cross-country skis.
Tennis clothing.
All ski stuff. Well, I mean, you know, I fucking love this show, even though I hate myself. I love this show, and
I love you. And if somebody listening does not like this show because it wasn't a laugh riot with bits, and you're sitting home and going, as Dan says, and he knows, I'm convinced that Dan knows that you're sitting right home and now going like, shut the fuck up, you fucking jerk offs. Just do voices and suck our dicks. No, I'm saying, Dan, suck our dicks. Suck our dicks, you motherfuckers. Yeah, Dan, I'm sorry. I'm yelling at the people preemptively.
It's weird that you just vocalized everything that I feel every time I tweet or post or look at social media. It's how everyone's taking me.
Dude, you've done one of my favorite things about you ever. It was great. I'm going to make this funnier but it was something, it was definitely more leaning towards what the joke I'm making.
Yeah.
What it was, but you came over one day and read something to me online and go, this is it. This is what I fucking hate right here. Like, Dan, Really love your stuff. I hope you do another special really soon. I can't get enough of your comedy. And you're like, and it's just like the special came out like a few months ago. It's like, you want me to fucking there's like turnover time and it's thing of that. And I'm like, Dan, they said they love you and they just want to see more stuff of you. And you go, oh, is that what they meant by that? I go, I don't know how you meant that. You read it any other way. I don't understand what you put into that.
I honestly almost blocked the guy because he said I was his favorite. Because he said I was his favorite comic, and I was like, this guy's full of shit.
Stupid.
This guy's full of shit.
Look at you like you're my favorite like I'm like, damn.
Fucking lying putz.
But when someone outside of a thing goes, like, they'll be like, I just say no to them when they go, dude, you're like my favorite comic in the world. And you go, no, but thank you, man.
Yeah.
No. And they go, no, do you really are? And I'm like, no, there's better, man.
Yeah, no. And then I'm like, I fucking am.
I'm like, thank you so much, but no.
I love you guys and I love this show and I love that this is where we can fucking come and talk about whatever we need to talk about, even if everyone does fucking hate me and I'll fight all of them.
Mostly love Black Lou.
Black Lou,
Yeah.
as a black man, would you say that we resolved the whole problem right here today?
I think we came pretty close.
Yeah, am I going to walk outside to a different world right now?
I walk outside.
Not lying.
I walk outside and Katie goes, "What did you guys do?" I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "It all cleared up." I go, oh. And not only that, you guys also cured COVID. Everyone's allowed to go back. I got the call. Sirius called while you were in the studio. You guys can go back tomorrow. All your road dates are back. And by the way, everything's okay. Black people are okay.
He goes, George Floyd came back to life during the autopsy.
It was a goof. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, make sure you go to youtube.com/thebonfire and follow and subscribe. We'll be back making dumb jokes, or maybe not. Maybe we just go full political after this. Maybe we just do a roundtable
movement. People of Earth.
Make sure you go to bigjcomedy.com and get tickets for Helium in Indianapolis, June 18th through the 20th. And I'm pretty sure we can say this now. I don't think it's been completely confirmed, but June 18th through the 20th, I'll be at Helium in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Look at us both at Helium's.
We'll be 3 hours away from each other. I heard this is Helium Indianapolis took some damage and all this stuff. So
yeah.
Hopefully I said that, man, I'm all for the protest continuing for as long as people need to protest. I just hope the violence in the street. I mean, on both sides, man, like burning car and like also just destroying people's private property and stuff, man. It fucking sucks. And it's funny, I've had to disclaim that sentence so many times this week in conversations because I go, the perspective I'm getting, like I'm on the side of the police, and then I have to always go, like, I'm not on the side of the police, like emotionally. I'm saying I'm physically the way my apartment building is. I am on the. It's like I'm barricaded in with the police.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm like I'm literally on. So I'm watching.
But it is funny because you have several times gone like I'm on the side of the police, and you're like, damn, dude, you're fucking taking a firm stance.
It's like no, I'm physically on the side of it, but it's like it's like I'm talking, and it said that at least the ones that I've had conversations with, or else I would have had weird conversations. But like the people, again, they're also like two of them were fans, and one just seemed like a really nice guy. But like they all seem pretty understanding of what's going on, and their bummer thing is just like that they can't help like all the fucking citizens who are just having like being the acts of like random crime and violence right now, which sucks that that's happening at all. But I think on the larger scale, people just want to fucking be heard, but it just sucks. Dude.
Also,
it was already a bad situation. I hope we can figure.
Also,
as a country, we figure something out, man.
All the white protesters that look like they're in a Sum 41 video, stop breaking shit so black people get blamed. How about you just stop doing that? If black people want to break shit, let them break shit. White people fucking.
We start doing that in the studio when we're back in the studio, just blame Black Lou for everything.
Yeah, I just break something.
Black Lou came over and broke it.
He yelled George Floyd, and then he fucking broke the board.
He broke it. He broke it. He peed on the board and said George Floyd.
The ultimate white guy move is just to do that and be like, all right, he did it.
I'd say as a listener, if you really want to pay your respects to George Floyd the right way, I'd say go masturbate to his porn. The girl is so hot. He's fucking guy's jacked and he's got a hog, dude.
How do you find the porn?
I think now I think they call him Big Floyd.
Can you look up George Floyd porn?
I think at this point you can, but it's him for sure. And like
Before you do that, why don't you go donate to the NAACP? And then maybe. And then
Well,
maybe
oh
stop
yeah, no,
by the
you
George
can
Floyd.
you can do that. But I mean, like, while you're on the Uber to the NAACP, because you like when you like, give your check in person, you could watch it on the Uber ride.
Yeah. There you go. And also self-quarantine.
And of course, check out Dan. Not only go to see him the 18th through the 20th in St. Louis. Are you going to drive there, Dan?
No, I think I'm going to fly.
Yeah, you're going to go for it?
You're going to fly.
Yeah, I'm going to drive, I think, still. But make sure you check out Dan at St. Louis, Missouri, Helium. And make sure you check him out every Sunday night. Only a few more weeks now, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Oh, my favorite show, Billions.
Yeah. But it's make sure you check that out every Sunday night, 9 p.m. on Showtime is the first airing. And I believe 8 o'clock shows the episode from the week before. Go to dansoder.com for tickets, review, listen to the podcast, tell friends, man. This show has saved our fucking mental lives through all of this, and the fact that we even in a situation like this, this talk's been good, man. It's been really good for and Lou, I hope as a black man, you now understand that we're not racist. I hope we made you understand that we're not racist. Now it's up to the rest of the world to make you feel that way. I don't know, but just I know. Well, Jacob, I don't know about Jacob. Jacob's gone full Florida. Jacob's gone full Florida. He might have fucking Zimmerman twitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might be thinking he needs to patrol gated communities with a loaded 9.
All I'm saying, Black Lou, is
self an oppressed person.
All I'm saying, Black Lou, is don't wear your hoodie into the studio when it's dark.
Arizona iced teas make me jumpy.
Yeah, before you came on, by the way, he was like staring at a machete, like he was gonna like kill like the hooker tied to his bed after it.
Which is pretty chill.
Which is pretty chill. Thank you guys so much for listening. I preemptively thank you, DJ Lou, for getting this episode out quick. Yeah. I really do. Black Lou, on behalf of white people,
all the whites,
sorry. And I'll say this.
Wait, hold on. You go.
Take a run at one store, dude. Just take a run at one store. You want to loot one store? I'm gonna look away from that because you're my boy.
Shopper sweet.
I did have that conversation with my wife. I was like, I know it's fucked up and wrong, but like, we all have dreams of having like a nice basement with 7 TVs in it. Like, it'd be real hard for me to pull past a Target and not.
Target.
To be honest with you could probably get your wife. You could probably get your white wife to go there and help you guys get a couple of 5-finger discounts over at West Elm or something. You know what I mean?
That's such a whitewashed looting dream.
Yeah. Don't. By the way, stop by Crate and Barrel. Get a kitchen set. Why not?
Cabinet, craft, and kitchen or whatever.
Break into a Pier 1 Imports. Who's paying attention to that?
Who gives a shit? Maybe Jennifer's Convertibles. If you guys both do it, if you guys both care, you could probably pull it off. Oh no, she's with child now. Don't say that. By the way, the new master race, the biracial white and black.
Biracial. Girl.
She's biracial. We have to make. She has to. Your kid has to become a cop and start making change. That's what you do at ground level. You make a biracial cop.
Yeah, now I got it.
That's the thing. Now, if Christine ever gets pregnant, I just have to have her get pregnant by a black guy, so we could. I want to have one.
You want to have a black baby with me?
I want to have a biracial. I'm not adopting someone else. I want it to queef right out of Christine. I'm going to be there every step of the way, from conception to everything. Holding your hand,
holding your hand the entire time,
rubbing ice chips on your lips, so your lips are numb enough to fit that enormous cock in your fucking cocksucker.
In your dick sucker.
Your dick sucker.
Right in the dick sucker.
Your dick sucker. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us today, man. It was just, we wanted to make sure that we addressed all this crazy shit going on. And Dan, really, he's running for office, so he really wanted to make sure you know how not racist he is.
Vote for me, Senate 2024.
Yeah. Soder Witzky 2020.
Soder Witzky, we're gonna fucking break in the door of 2024. Let's go get it.
We're busting down. We love you guys, and we will catch you tomorrow for sure.
Definitely.
Bonfire.